So I heard something the other day that was simple but really profound. Most profound things are quite simple. And I want to pass it along to you and offer this to you. And it was that most people, everyone at some point, experiences this feeling of not being who you want to be yet. And there's no way around it other than through. And I want you to really let that sink in and tap into, what does that mean for you? For me, what that means is that there's no shortcut. There's no anything outside of you that's going to help you become who you know in your heart you're meant to be. It's something that happens internally. It's a choice you make. It's not something where you're waiting on someone else to validate you. You're not waiting for circumstances to change. You're not waiting to feel safe. It's you going first. It's you going ahead and making the decision to choose yourself. I read a book, a friend gave me a book, actually like right when COVID started, when the lockdown happened, and it was the pivotal point in my life, called Choose Yourself. I think that's what the book's called, or Choosing Yourself, something like that. It's a really good book. And there's so much truth to it. It's like we wait and wait and wait for someone outside of us to tell us that we're worthy or capable, or waiting for the money to show up, or waiting to feel like it's the right time, or waiting for approval. And it's like no one can give that to you but yourself. The one you're waiting on is you. And actually, as I'm sharing this, I'm remembering another profound piece of advice that I actually got from someone like years ago when I first was starting to go into business for myself. This was like right when I was on the brink of it, and I think now would be a good time to share it. I was speaking with this man who had done really, really well for himself financially. He was quite young. He was a multi-millionaire. I met him through work. I was helping him get a car. I was working at Audi at the time. And I don't know, there was just, when you meet people and you're like, I need to learn something from you. He just was like, he had this like humble vibe, but like very grounded and rooted, and like, I just had to ask him. I was like, how did you do it? Like, I just need to know. At this point, I was listening. Oh no, I wasn't listening to this book just yet. Hang on, I'll get there. So I just knew I needed to ask him. It had just dawned on me like a week or two before that there had to be an easier way to make money. I was like sitting there at this job I hated, working long hours, like commission, if you've been in that kind of job, it's just like, I'm that's not my vibe. And I just was like, there has to be an easier way. So I asked him, I was like, how did you do it? And he told me, he said, I decided to take a chance on myself, and it made all the difference. Fucking stuck with me. And then guess what manifested for me after that? I'm gonna tell you. So this is turning out longer than I thought, but this is a good story, okay? So like maybe a week or two after that, so I had that mulling around in my mind, I'm sitting at my desk scrolling through Facebook, bored as fuck, and I see an ad for this girl talking about how you don't need to trade your time for money. And looking back, it was like really gimmicky. It was totally like a like pyramid scheme, like, what's it called? Like, I'm going to go blank on it. It was like an online marketing type thing, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, I'm way too independent to be putting all my time into like building someone else's dream. But I ended up this started me on this whole thing, right? Where I was like, oh my gosh, there's got to be a way for me to make money online. And the wheels in my mind began turning. And then one thing led to another. I ended up making an investment that like at the time I thought was a bad investment, but it led me to stepping into my purpose. So it was like perfect. If you know, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. That can be aligned for some people, just definitely not my path. But anyway, one thing led to another. I ended up downloading or buying on Audible the book by T. Harv Eker called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And so I'd be driving to this job that I absolutely fucking hated. Driving like when I was living in Florida, if you know the bridge from Tampa to St. Pete, long ass bridge, like sitting in morning traffic there, listening to this, like really beginning to form new neural pathways in my mind, beginning to open up my mind and expand myself to the possibilities. And T. Harv Eker in the book at the end of every chapter has you tap on the side of your mind and say, I have a millionaire mind. So little did I know, I was really, really opening up so much for myself, okay? So one thing led to another. I made this investment in the affiliate marketing, didn't pan out, but what it got me doing was it got me visible on Facebook, positioning. And like some way, somehow I started getting connected with coaches online, and someone reached out to me and was like, why aren't you a coach? And I was like, good question. Why am I not a coach? And it all kind of unfolded, and I did not make any money for like the first, not, I want to say year, but it was more than that in my business. And it was okay because it was all like this beautiful unfolding of like me needing to lead myself through what I would eventually lead other people through. And it all happened. It all happened. So this long-winded way to say, if you're not who you want to be yet, it's okay. Keep going. You're going to get there. The only way you don't get there is if you give up. And trust me, there were many times where I gave up, where I stopped and then started again, like deleted all my YouTube. I have a YouTube that was monetized and I deleted it. I deleted my Instagram. And you can always start over. You don't need to be super extreme like me, but you can always start over. Keep going. The obstacle is the way. There's no way around it. The only way is through.